Hi everyone, it's Baldrick here, and in today's episode, I would like to talk about getting past the learning curve for Battlefield 4's Infantry. So, when you first start playing Battlefield 4, it may not seem like most other first-person shooters. That's because there are a few more things that you have to consider when you're gunning someone down. So, it's obviously not like real life where you've got a realistic weapon sway and everything, but it is a bit more, I guess, realistic, or it tries to sort of simulate it a bit more than most shooters. I'm not saying it's 100% realistic or anything like that, because even Armor 3 tops Battlefield 4 in terms of realism, and Armor 3 is not even realistic, so that sort of gives you the idea. So before you even start playing Battlefield 4, you need to know that there is bullet drop. So after a certain amount of time, your bullet starts to curve downwards because of gravity. So you can't do anything about that. You especially see this on the snipers, and I guess high-powered weapons because you're trying to get those long shots. But in most gunfights, you're not really going to notice the gravity drop, but you do have to consider it a bit when you're fighting long range. Close range, I wouldn't even worry about it. But that's really for snipers to consider. Anyway, now is, I guess, the sort of playstyle. Battlefield 4 gives you 4 different classes. That is Medic, Engineer, Support, and Recon, or it's Assault or Medic, because you can play either. And basically, you need to pick the one that caters towards the map and game mode the best. Obviously, you can use any one you want in whatever game mode, depending on how you're feeling. But if you're starting off, I would highly recommend usually going with the, I guess, Assault class, because it is the most versatile class. The Assault Rifle, depending on what one you pick, is the most deadly weapon you can get in Battlefield 4, especially guns like the Scar H or AEK-71. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. And they just rip through enemies at any range. Obviously, you're not going to get snipers 500 meters away or anything like that, but they definitely do have a slight advantage over all the other guns. And the reason for that is because the other classes have other abilities that the Assault class does not have, and that is vehicle damage. The Assault class, the most deadly explosive it gets is the grenade launcher, and that can't really do much against vehicles. Whereas if you're playing Engineer, you can get weapons like the Stinger for taking out helicopters, Javelins for taking out tanks, and you can also get non-lock-on weapons like the General RPG and SRAW that are just very deadly against vehicles, and that's really what another thing you want to consider. If you're playing a game like Conquest Large, maybe it is beneficial to actually use the Engineer class, because just for that reason. And then you've got the Support class. A area that Support would really help you out is in tight maps, and there's only 2 really tight maps I can think of in Battlefield 4. That is Operation Metro and Operation Locker. These, if you're not using Support, you've got a very big disadvantage, because their clips are so big you can keep on suppressing the enemy and finally kill them because they just can't put enough bullets into you, whereas you've got the upper hand on just hosing them down with your LMG. So the Assault Rifle, it's good in most situations, but obviously there's some exceptions. And then there's the Recon class. The Recon class doesn't really have a, I guess, game mode where I would recommend it. It's sort of a class that you'd want to play if you've gotten really good with using guns, because you're not going to really be coming first on your team or anything using the sniper rifle, and that's just because they are very slow, and you have to two-hit people unless you get a really good headshot, so they're not really what I'd recommend if you're a beginner in Battlefield 4. So I hope you've enjoyed the, I guess, basics on infantry fighting in Battlefield 4. I've also got to point out that when you're aiming down sight, you've sort of got to fire and burst as well. That's a really big recommendation, because all the guns recoil in this game gets pretty hard to control after about the 5th shot, so you can't really, I guess, control your bullets as well as some other games, but it definitely helps out showing all the experienced players against the noobs, because you can definitely tell by the KD on the people on your team who is sort of a beginner, and obviously the level as well, and the way they just fight you. Some of the beginners, the level 1s or level 2s, they hit you the first few times, but then they just start missing. That's because they are fully automatically firing their weapons, and yeah, once again, you don't want to be doing that. I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you are good at Battlefield, I'd like to get some, I guess, more tips in the comments below that you'd recommend to beginners, and I will include it in another episode in how to improve or get over the Battlefield 4 learning curve, and that's either in vehicles or infantry. And if you are I guess a noob to Battlefield 4, also leave a comment if there's anything I missed out that you are unsure about, and I really only covered the infantry in this bit. And if you don't play Battlefield 4 but you're wondering about the game, just feel free to pop your comment in below. Anyway, thanks for watching, see you later, have a nice day.